and you're welcome to go ahead and start your presentation. Do you have audio? We're not hearing. Are you talking and we're not catching your audio?
Sorry, we're having technical difficulties.
Okay.
User difficulties, let's put it that way. Sorry. All right, Jesse. Can you see our screen? Yes. Okay.
Yes, we do see it.
I can't see it. That's my problem.
Here. Because it's behind this. Maybe stop sharing for a second.
Sorry, we're just having a few technical difficulties here, or user difficulties is what it is.
You want to stop sharing and start over? Oh, there you go. Okay.
Okay. So Jesse and I are from the Washtenaw Housing Alliance. If you're not familiar with the Washtenaw Housing Alliance, we're an advocacy and education membership organization. So probably a lot of folks in the audience are members of our organization. But we also have a few programs that we facilitate out of our office, and one of them is the Rising Hope for Housing program. And this program provides assistance to folks who have a voucher, a tenant-based voucher, and have been justice impacted or impacted by our criminal justice system. So that's the only criteria for this program, is that they have a housing choice voucher, tenant-based, and that they have been impacted. Somebody in their household has been impacted by the criminal justice system. And and the idea here is for us to help to stabilize the individual or the family in their housing and create more self-sufficiency there, avoid evictions, things like that. So it's a program that was established with funds from the marijuana excise tax rebate. That's what's funding this program. This was a pilot program that was started last year through some funds that were given through the city of Ann Arbor. Last year we got $400,000, and then this year, the second year, we received $500,000. Last year, we were able to provide services to well over 100 individuals and families in our community. This year, we're kind of on track for that. In the first 6 months, we've served about 50 families, but that also kind of fluctuates depending on the time of year, just kind of similar to some of the other programs that are available in the community as well. So again, these are the program requirements. Must be Washtenaw County residents, already have a housing choice voucher, have been approved to receive a housing choice voucher, but we also know that that's kind of on hold for right now. So there haven't been any new vouchers in the community since October of 2023. And then also somebody in that household who's been impacted by the criminal justice system. And that can be, we have, I don't want to say a loose definition, but sometimes it could be a family, and then maybe the father of the children is currently incarcerated, and that we know that that would be impacting the household in a number of different ways. In this program, we have some partners. The funds were actually allocated to the city, to Ann Arbor Housing Commission, and then they contracted with Washtenaw Housing Alliance to facilitate the program. And then our other partners are also Catholic Charities, SOS Community Services, the Shelter Association, and A Brighter Way. I'm not gonna, I think most of you are aware of what Ann Arbor Housing Commission does. And at the end, if you have any questions about that, we can probably answer that. And for this program, it's not restricted to just folks who have an Ann Arbor Housing Commission voucher. It can be a voucher from any of the housing agents in our community. So RPI, CMA. We even have had folks with a Plymouth Housing voucher, but are here in Washtenaw County and living in Washtenaw County. So we can also serve them as well. I gave you a little bit of background about the Washtenaw Housing Alliance. Like I said, we facilitate, we encourage, we monitor this work by providing training and technical assistance to our partners. And then we also, making sure that we're using good best practices, advocating for the needs of the people who are experiencing homelessness and or at risk of homelessness. Our other partners, again, I'm not going to just read through the slides. A Brighter Way, and if you're not familiar with A Brighter Way is an organization that was formed by a group of formerly incarcerated individuals here in Washtenaw County. And their their mission or their job is to help people who are coming back into the community to reintegrate back into the community, and help folks to do that by providing some mentoring, connecting them with community resources, and advocating for them. And these are the services, the different services. All of the organizations provide kind of similar services, but a little bit different as well. Brighter Way, trauma-informed case management, employment, family unification, financial awareness counseling, and peer mentoring. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Really, depending on what somebody comes in, what their needs are, they are figuring out a way to assist them. We also have Catholic Charities, and they just changed their name from Catholic Social Services to Catholic Charities. So takes a minute to get that out into the community. So they're also one of our partners. They are also providing the trauma-informed case management services. And then a big thing we know with case management services is coordinating and connecting people to existing resources in the community. So that is something that they're doing as well. And then also rental assistance, application fees, helping people find housing if that's what they need, as well as a host of other services and supports. Our other partner, SOS Community Services, some of you know that they do rapid rehousing. They have some other prevention programs. They're also doing the shelter assessments, and then diversion as well as prevention. They also, for this particular program, they're also doing trauma-informed case management services, housing advocacy, some leasing applications, a lot of focus on, for this organization, a lot of focus on the housing and the housing resources that people might need to be able to either get into housing, and then to maintain their housing. Shelter Association. So the Shelter Association primarily works with individuals. And again, we have a person kind of embedded into each of these organizations that are specifically working with our Rising Hope folks. So the whole idea, and again, here are the services that they're providing as well. The whole idea here is to make this as seamless as possible for folks needing assistance. And that we move pretty quickly and pretty nimbly. So this is kind of just what happens when a referral is sent, and we can send out the referral form to folks as well if you haven't received it. But essentially what happens is the referral comes here to Washtenaw Housing Alliance. We do an initial screening. We do use HMIS. So we are just entering into HMIS for just some basic, it's a way for us to track and to get some just basic demographic information for our reporting to the City of Ann Arbor. And that's who we report to, as the City of Ann Arbor City Council specifically. But if we get a referral and we make that phone call, and for whatever reason they don't meet the eligibility requirement for our program, then we're going to send them to Hawk or another service in the community that they may be able to access. So, they might have been involved with the criminal justice system, but they don't have a voucher, or they have a voucher and they haven't been involved in the criminal justice system. So that would be a reason for them not to get services through Rising Hope. And again, if they are then eligible for Rising Hope, we just do a really quick phone call with them and then make a referral to, we always try to make a referral to a Brighter Way. And then also, depending on what the needs of that individual or family are, then we would send them either to SOS, Catholic Charities, or the Shelter Association. And then at that point, once they are referred from WHA to one of those organizations, that individual at that organization is going to contact the person and get more information from them. So they're going to be the ones who are going to ask for a ledger. Do you have, if you've got a 7-day notice or 30-day notice, can you send that to me? And or you have a shut off notice from DTE, or you got a packet of the renewal packet for your voucher and you're not exactly sure what to do. Those are all things that we can assist with. This is just a copy of our brochure, and just kind of goes into a little bit more detail about who we're serving, who we served this past year, etc. So I know I went through that pretty quickly. Are there any questions? And our goal here, and again, is to help to stabilize folks who have a voucher in their home, make sure that they don't lose that voucher, right? Because we know how valuable that voucher is. We don't want them to lose that voucher. And so we're really kind of trying to do whatever we can to help them to, one, secure that voucher and then become more stable in their housing so that, eventually that they're able to maintain their housing without assistance. And I think it's something that a lot of other folks in this call are doing as well. This is just another resource in the community. They do not have to, and here's, I think, the kind of the beauty of this program is they do not have to have a 30-day notice. They do not have to have a judgment from the court. If they do, it's okay. But they don't have to. We're really hoping to catch people before they get into the court system, because we also know that there's additional charges once that starts to happen. It also can be very traumatic for somebody that's already been traumatized by our justice system. So we're really hoping in some cases to catch people before they get into the court. This program, because of the flexibility, we can pay court fees, we can pay late fees and things like that. We're not restricted in the way some other funding is restricted. So, and again, it's very, very flexible. It's not just about paying rent. It's not just about paying the utilities if they're in arrears. It can also be other things that we've helped folks with as they come to us, and the agency do a more intensive assessment, may find out that there's some other issues or other challenges that they're having. And that might be something that we can assist with. We have an FAQ that we kind of go through because sometimes things come up that we didn't expect. And so, we're again trying to be very flexible and very nimble with these funds. And so when something comes up that we didn't expect, or maybe we didn't plan for, and we didn't say, oh, we didn't think about that. We go through a process where we, one, we find out, we make sure that, oh, can we spend money on that? Is that okay? And again, there's not a lot of restrictions for us, but we want to make sure that, we're not saying yes and then having to say no. So we kind of, if somebody comes to us and will say, you know what, that's a good question. I'm going to find out and I'll get back to you. And usually it's just a matter of going to the funder, which the funds come, like I said, from Ann Arbor Housing Commission, and saying, hey, this came up. Is this something that we can do? I will say this, 9 times out of 10, they're going to say, sure. you know, if that's going to help somebody keep their housing, stabilize their housing, you know, get them housed, then yeah, that's fine. And so when that happens, we add that into our FAQs. And so then we know, oh, in the future, if this were to come up, oh, sure, we can do that, no problem. And then, like I said, sometimes things come up with the partner agencies and they'll come back to us and say, hey, can we cover it? Most of them are pretty creative and do a really good job at, you know, problem solving and figuring things out. The other thing that we are doing and our partner agencies are doing they are tapping into other funds as well in the community. They're not just relying on the funds that they're getting for Rising Hope. And again, hoping to get those, enable those funds to go a little bit further in our community as well. So if somebody came to us, for example, with a $4,000 bill, you know, we do have a cap of 3,000 on our funds. So, you know, how do I come up with another $1,000? And again, the agencies that we're working with are very creative and very good about and knowledgeable about the resources in the community that they can tap into and work to help that person to solve that issue or that problem. Any questions? I know I went through this pretty fast, but it's really, you know, 2 criteria. Just keep that in mind. And even then, and the next question we kind of ask with that, because sometimes we'll get somebody who's been 20 years or whatever, 15 years, you know, and the question is that continuing to impact your housing and things, you know, like, so for an example of that would be, yeah, I have a I had a criminal background, but it's been 20 years. But every time I go get a job, to go apply for a job, it comes up on my background check. Or the same thing, I try to go get housing and it comes up on the background check. And then they, you know, say, well, no, you can't. We're not going to rent to you, or we're not going to hire you. Even though they're not supposed to do that, those things still happen. So, you know, that's definitely impacting their housing and, you know, moving forward. So even though it was 20 years ago, you know, we're still going to take a look at that and help them the best that we can. All right. Any questions? So you're all going to start referring to us, right?
This is Jessie at WHA. I was just going to add that a person who may have participated in the program, even within the first, say someone applied and got funds to support them through Rising Hope this month, and then they come back to us in October, they can still be considered as part of receiving funds. But we do try to make this program more than just a one-time use. So there's like the trauma-informed case management to help a household through something they may be struggling with when it comes to budgeting around like increased rent. But overall, they can participate more than once. It's just we try to triage it in a way that they might get a little bit more intense support through case managing. Usually that'll come through a Brighter Way and their efforts to help really do more of the peer support. So just as a heads up, folks are able to apply to this program if they've already applied and received funds one time.
Yeah, that's a good question, Laura. If it's an annual cap, no, we haven't put an annual cap on this. So yes, somebody could come, but you have to think about this. Most people have they all have vouchers, right? So they're only paying their portion of the rent to voucher. So it's not, you know, we haven't seen like huge bills. I mean, there's been occasionally, I think we've seen some DTE bills. So again, like DTE, we know how DTE works, right? They can get on a payment plan and then, but that bill never really goes away, right? So that's where that, you know, we might spend $3,000, or the big thing is if, it's a security deposit. We know, you know, with a security deposit, yes, we could easily spend, you know, $2,500 on a security deposit. So, and again, this would be like, so let's say somebody needs a security deposit. Also, they might have arrears, you know, where they were. In order to move with that voucher, they need to clear up their arrears and then they can move. So, you know, we would cover the 3,000. And then again, like I said, our partner agencies would be really good about kind of finding those extra funds if needed. And then let's just say they come back in 6 months. So we've already expended that $3,000 on them with the security deposit, et cetera. They come back in 6 months and they're behind in their utility bills. We would still be able to assist them with that. Yep. And then right now we're looking at 2 car repairs. We're just developing, we're in the process of drafting up a little bit of a policy. We've started having conversations with our partner agencies about what they'd like to see too with car repairs. We know that there's some organizations in the community that do that, but the funds are so limited and it's sometimes not enough to get the car repaired. So we're also, looking at that right now because that did come up as a question. And so we've taken that to our partners and said, okay, what do you think about this? How do you think we should structure this? And so we're in the process of writing up a policy. We're also reaching out to different mechanics in the community to see if they would work with us, maybe give us a discount or whatever. And so that we can give people a list of reputable mechanics in the community that are willing to work with us. And then we would pay those things. There was another question
about a website for Rising.
Oh, no, you do not have to go through, they do not have to go through Hawk. If they do go, we've met with Hawk, we've done our presentation with Hawk. If they're asking questions, if people do have a voucher, they ask that next question, has anybody in your household been involved with the criminal justice system? They may or may not be eligible for prevention dollars. We also don't do a income testing. But again, people have vouchers, so we know that, they're within a certain income, right? But sometimes they're not eligible for prevention dollars. But if they're also screening and if they do come across somebody who meets the criteria for Rising Hope, they're making that referral to us. And then we're following up on that. So no, we can send out the referral to anybody in the community, can fill out that referral. We just ask that you fill it out completely. Make sure we have a good phone number. And then attached to that referral form is an ROI. And with the ROI, just make sure you're the one who's making the referral and getting permission to make the referral to us. So take a look at that ROI and make sure that you're filling that out completely. And then what we do is once we receive that, we'll call the client and then just ask those 2 questions. And then, maybe I'll ask, so what's going on? How can we help you? And just get a really brief description before making that referral to one of our partner agencies. But if they do call Hawk, they're also screening them, and that's fine. And they'll send them to us as well. Because we know for prevention, I think the last person they were out almost a month. They had an appointment to go for prevention. But again, we can get a referral and we can turn it around in a week. And there's no waiting list, at least so far, unless everybody sends us referrals, then maybe. But we pretty much try to get these out within 24, 48 hours to our partners. Any other questions? Do we have our own website? No, we don't. WHA has some information up on our website, but specifically just for Rising Hope, no, because it's a program coming out of Washoe Housing Alliance, but there is information up there. But we can also send to Barry Busters the referral form, and then that would get it out to all, most of you. And then you can always go on our website and contact us as well. If you want more information. We're also going out to various agencies and doing presentations at different agencies. Like I said, we did one with Hawk. We've been, even with landlords, we do some work with landlords. And so we're letting landlords know about this program as well. So again, if they have somebody that might be in one of their properties that they think might meet our criteria, then they can also make that referral as well. No, I don't know about. And the question is, do you know of any similar programs like this in Monroe County? No, and this is really unique to the city. There's some across the nation that are maybe not the same, but similar. But, one of the things that the city of Ann Arbor, City Council decided to do was the marijuana excise tax. They had, I think, well over $1 million. This was something that they decided was important in the community. And even though it comes from the city of Ann Arbor, we can serve anybody in Washtenaw County. So they don't have to be in the city. They don't have to live in the city. It's for anybody in Washtenaw County. This was how they chose to use those monies. Other communities have these types of funds, the marijuana excise tax fund. They could also choose to use this. And I think maybe eventually we will be, seeing how we can influence others to do, similar programs, or at least show them the benefit of doing this type of a program.
Some of those Ann Arbor City funds that you just spoke of, the marijuana tax fund, City of Ann Arbor gave some money to Barrier Busters as well. So we are also passing through those same funds for Barrier Busters. Those particular Barrier Buster funds, though, are designated specifically for City of Ann Arbor residents, though.
Yeah, they gave funds to other, also Ann Arbor Housing Commission for some eviction prevention as well, but not tied to this type of this criteria for this program.
This has been incredibly informative. Thank you.
Sure.
Are there any last minute questions real quick? You want to unmute to ask or put it in the chat? Another call out for questions?
I'm going to put my, I can put my contact information in the chat.
Okay, and as always, we will be updating the website with this information, so it'll be through Barrier Busters. So Barrier Busters will also have this information presented and available.
Great. All right. Well, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, our next presenters from United Way is going to go over the VITA information for us. Megan and Victor. Yep. If you want to go ahead and share your screen with us. Let me say that again. Are you prepared to share your slides with us, or would you like?
I am. Can you see them?
Yes, now I do. Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks everyone for having us. It's very exciting. My first Washtenaw Barrier Busters meeting. So very happy to be here. I'm Megan Tyvis. I'm Director of Community Impact Innovation at United Way for Southeastern Michigan. And I'm joined by my colleague, Victor Martinez. Victor, you want to say hello?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Victor Martinez, the Community Engagement Specialist with the Tax Coalition and United Way here. So it's good to be here. My first Barrier Busters too. I'm very excited.
Thanks so much. So for anybody who maybe doesn't know, United Way of Washtenaw County merged with the former United Way of Southeastern Michigan last October of 2023. So we're now about 15 months into that merger. So we are now the expanded United Way for Southeastern Michigan, and we cover a 4-county footprint, Wayne, Oakland, Macomb, and now Washtenaw. So we are excited to be getting to know our Washtenaw partners. And we are here to talk to you today about our tax work. So if you take nothing away from the next 15 or 20 minutes, I want you to know that there are thousands of dollars available to low-income workers and families by filing taxes. Expert help is available at no cost to file those taxes. We need your help to spread the word, and there's more information online, and there's also online scheduling that's new this year for tax appointments at getthethaxfacts.org, or you can call 211. So why do we do this work? We do this work because there are millions of dollars on the table for low-income families. So The state and federal tax codes are the single biggest source of cash benefits for low to moderate income families. Even despite all of the chaos that's going on in Washington right now, the tax code is not going to change overnight. So this is real money that is available to our low income families. The earned income tax credit and the child tax credit are worth thousands of dollars per family. That is flexible, unrestricted cash. There are not that many places in this world today that you can get flexible, unrestricted cash to pay for all of those things that other benefits and programs don't pay for. So we know that families use these resources to catch up on overdue bills, to make some car repairs. We were just talking about car repairs, to buy food for their families, to buy shoes and backpacks for their kids, to pay their cell phone bill, right? Because there's all these costs of modern life that, you know, the dollars don't stretch that far, but there are thousands of dollars available to low-income families through the tax code. And so we at United Way lead this collective effort to help ensure that as many families as possible in the southeastern Michigan region are claiming every single dollar that they're entitled to. The problem is that people have to file taxes to claim this money, and about 20% of eligible households each year don't file those taxes. So that means that we are collectively leaving millions of dollars on the table every single year. We don't want to do that. We need your help to spread the word, to encourage everybody to file those taxes. And so specifically, you know, we are looking to do outreach with your support to those hardest to reach families, those families who are at risk of missing out, who maybe don't know that they're eligible. Maybe they've kind of been in and out of the workforce. They don't think that there's a benefit to them for filing taxes. They're intimidated about filing taxes. Whatever the reason is that they might not be planning to file their taxes, we are looking for your support to reach those folks and encourage them to file their taxes, and most importantly, support them to file our taxes. So through our partners, particularly our operational partner, Accounting Aid Society, we provide expert tax preparation at no cost to residents. And so we've supported in Washtenaw County in 2024, we supported about 750 individuals, claiming more than $1.6 million. And we're hoping to grow that by at least 50% this year. So we need your help to do that. So, and thank you to the Washtenaw Office of Community Economic Development, not only for just having us here in this webinar, but also for supporting this work, and also the Ann Arbor Community Foundation for supporting this work. So what does it look like? What are we offering here? So we are offering expert no-cost help to file your taxes, emphasis on the expert and emphasis on the no cost. So this is not, you know, this is, sometimes we know that families are maybe a little bit skeptical that something that you don't pay for is maybe not good quality. That is not the case with this tax preparation assistance. It is IRS certified. So our nonprofit partner, Accounting Aid Society, has to go through a very rigorous certification process with the IRS in order to get certified as an agency. The individuals who are actually doing the tax preparation also have to go through a very rigorous training process. And as a result of that, the accuracy rate is actually higher for our tax preparation service than it is for your average everyday for-profit tax service. And so, and these folks are experts in those low-income tax credits that the families and individuals that you serve can benefit from. So the way it works is you schedule an appointment. We have scheduling available online. It's super easy. Again, that's new for this year. We're very excited. So you can visit our website at getthethaxfacts.org. There's a very prominent schedule now button. It takes about 5 minutes, not even, to schedule an appointment online. You can also call 211. And so then, you know, folks have to prepare their documents, find their W-2s, their 1099s, and bring those to their tax appointment. They will meet face-to-face, one-on-one with a tax expert who will help them file their taxes and claim their payments. So the income eligibility for this service is anyone who made less than $67,000 in 2024. So that is an individual income. If the person is not legally married, it's a joint income if they are married. So that is how it works. We understand that sometimes people, may have questions, they're not quite ready, especially if they haven't filed taxes in a long while. So we are also available to just answer questions. You can call 211. There will be, not today, but in the next couple of days, we will have up some prompts where you can follow the prompts specifically to talk to a tax navigator. But even if you called today and you just said, hey, I've got some questions about this tax preparation service, can I talk to a navigator? They would transfer you to those navigators. So we are also really proud to share that we are expanding services in Washtenaw County. So I said earlier, we're aiming to increase the individuals served by at least 50%. So we have a new operational partnership with the County Aid Society. County Aid Society is a nonprofit tax preparer. This is their primary business. This is most of what they do. They've been doing it for over 50 years. They're actually one of the largest nonprofit tax preparers in the country. So we have worked with them for years in our Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb work. We're very excited to bring them to our Washtenaw work. So we're going to have regular services available at our office, which is the same office that the old United Way of Washtenaw County had. And it's now part of the United Way for Southeastern Michigan. That's on Platte Road. We're expanding services from 3 days a week to 5 days a week. So we're going to be open Tuesday through Saturday, 8 hours a day. And there are evenings involved in those service hours as well. We do require appointments. So please do not send anyone over for a walk-in. Please make an appointment first. You can again visit getthetaxfacts.org or call 211 to schedule that appointment. We're also going to have some scan and go locations in Manchester and at the Housing Bureau for Seniors. So thanks so much to those community partners. So scan and go means that you bring your documentation, our community partners scan in that documentation, we do the taxes on the back end, and then we'll contact you when your tax return is ready. But our services at the United Way office are in person. And so we are taking inquiries. We're sort of actively interested. If there's any community partners that would be interested in hosting a pop-up clinic at your location, we'd love to hear from you. If you're interested in becoming a scan and go partner, we'd love to hear from you. Kind of, depending on, when we have that conversation, maybe we're able to get something done this tax season. Maybe it's sort of a preparation conversation for a partnership for next tax season. But one way or another, we'd love to hear from you if you're interested in getting more involved in this effort. So that is what we're offering. Again, very, very excited to be expanding services this year. I'm going to talk a couple more minutes about kind of the dollars that are on the table. And the eligibility for those tax credits. And then I'm going to turn it over to Victor, who will share a little bit more about how you can get involved. So as I said earlier, one of the primary tax credits that we help people file for is the Earned Income Tax Credit. That is worth up to $10,000 per family. So that is a huge chunk of money. It's actually structured as both a federal credit and a matching state credit. So the eligibility is the same across both federal and state. And so if someone has worked at all in 2024 and they're in that lower income bracket, they are very likely eligible. The overall income ceiling is $67,000. So this is targeted to workers with earned income. So this has to be income from work, so not Social Security, but someone who is on Social Security or disability, but also does a little bit of paid work on the side is absolutely someone who might be missing out on this credit because they might not realize that they are eligible. So the exact income limits and credit amounts depend on a variety of different factors. I'll go over that in a minute. And there's a little bit of a misconception that this is only for families with children. That is incorrect. Childless individuals also qualify, or childless couples. It is more generous for those with children, but especially those very low income single individuals and couples without children also qualify. You do have to have a Social Security number for both adults and children to qualify for this credit. And so, as I said earlier, it's actually structured as 2 credits. It's a matching between there's the federal credit and there's the state credit. So in 2023, Michigan state legislature actually increased the state credit, the Michigan EITC, by 5-fold. So that is huge. So it used to be only a 6% match on the federal credit, and now it's a 30% match on the federal credit. So for every dollar you qualify from the federal government, you get an additional 30% or 30 cents on the dollar from the state of Michigan. So, you know, that's a significant increase into the dollars that are actually available to families. And so all you got to do is file taxes in 2025. And if you're eligible, you will receive that increased Michigan credit automatically. So we've got some FAQs and detailed eligibility on our website. But everyone always wants to know sort of what does it look like? So again, the income eligibility depends based on the number of children and your tax filing status. So it ranges from, if you are a single individual with no children, then incomes up to $18,591 would qualify. If you are a married couple with 3 or more children, then income up to $66,819 would qualify. And then on the right-hand column here, we've got the maximum credit amount. So the maximum credit amount for a childless individual or couple is $822. The maximum credit amount for a couple or individual with 3 or more children is over $10,000. So it can be a lot of money, and we know that every dollar counts for our families who are kind of living on the edge there. So that is one major source of dollars. And just to kind of underscore the point here, like, you know, if you're a single mom making $20,000 or $30,000 a year, that is sort of in the sweet spot of eligibility here, because the eligibility, the credit amount goes up the more you earn, and then it plateaus for a minute, and then it kind of phases out at the end. So, you know, if you're a single parent making $20,000 or $30,000, you could stand to, and you've got several kids, you could stand to make, you know, close to $10,000 from the EITC. And so that's like 50% again, or 30% again on top of your income. So it's hugely, hugely beneficial. On top of that, we also have the child tax credit. So the child tax credit is worth $1,500 to $2,000 per child. This is extra cash for families with children under age 17 living in your home. So a really important thing to understand, and this is true of the EITC as well, if you have children, you do not need to be the child's biological parent to qualify. So the grandparents who are raising grandchildren, aunts and uncles raising nieces and nephews, individuals that don't actually have a formal relationship, but they are the primary caregiver, they are likely eligible if that child lives in the home, does so for the majority of the year, and the caregiving adult is the primary financially responsible party for that child. That is the key qualifying criteria for both the child tax credit and the earned income tax credit. The biological relationship to that child is not so important. Now for the child tax credit, there is a minimum earned income of at least $2,500 from working in 2024. So again, those grandparents raising grandchildren, if they're mostly living on Social Security, but they're working a little bit to help make ends meet because they've got, you know, the costs of children, if they've earned at least $2,500 from paid work in 2024, even if the majority of their income is coming from Social Security or retirement funds, then they are very likely eligible for both the earned income tax credit and the child tax credit. And together those look like thousands of dollars. And so for the child tax credit, the children in question do need to have a valid Social Security number, but adults can have an ITIN. ITIN stands for an individual tax identification number. So that's an alternative number for folks who do not have a Social Security number for any reason. So that is something to know, that credit is accessible to individuals without a Social Security number, so long as the children have a Social Security number. So who's at risk of missing out? Who do we need your help to reach? So our brand new families, those folks who had a baby in 2024, that baby now makes them eligible for the child tax credit, and it likely makes them eligible for the earned income tax credit as well, or it makes them, it could potentially make them eligible when they were not previously, because those income limits are much higher once a child is in the equation, and the credit amount is higher. So we really want to reach those first-time parents who might not realize that they're eligible. Again, I was talking earlier about grandparents raising grandchildren, those non-traditional families who, again, may not realize they're eligible because the child in question or the children in question are not their biological children. Our families who don't typically or always file taxes. So folks who are in and out of work, folks with very low incomes, folks who are not required to file taxes may well benefit from filing taxes. And also those folks who have a mix of disability or social security income and some paid work. Those are folks who are living on very low incomes. And so even if they've worked just a little bit, especially, you know, those few extra dollars of earned income can make them eligible for these tax credits, and even higher tax credits if there's children in their lives. And then, of course, as always, are families that are more disconnected from the social service ecosystem. So folks that have limited English, folks who have limited education, folks who are just kind of not in the know. We're relying on community organizations like yours to help spread the word. So once again, key takeaways, there's thousands of dollars available to low-income workers and families in Washtenaw County by filing taxes. There's expert help available at no cost. We have a ton of appointments available, y'all, because we have significantly increased services. So we would love for you to help your clients make appointments, help spread the word. I'm going to not steal Victor's thunder because he's about to tell you about all of the ways you can help, but we really want your help. And the way that you and your clients can access this information and services is online at our website at getthetextfacts.org or by calling 211. So Victor, please tell the group about all of the ways that they can help.
Right. Thank you, Megan. On to the fun part, how you can get involved. So we need your help spreading the word. This, as Megan just explained, this is a super, super important series of resources that are available to the community. This is money that the community that already belongs to the people, right? It's a tax return. It's money that's owed, right? And it's very important to help them access that money. We've got all of these resources available. How can you help us bring people in? Well, so we have some ways. The first big thing you can do is texting or emailing your contact list with pre-prepared materials about our free tax filing services, directing them to call 211 or go to getthetextfacts.org to schedule an appointment. Include regular reminders in newsletters. One of the big things that we do is we have a bunch of flyers available. I can bring you flyers. Get in touch with me at taxes@unitedwaysem.org or email me directly at victor.martinez@unitedwaysem.org, and we can work out a delivery schedule. I can bring you material. I can send you a digital copy for you to send out. I can send you material to put in a newsletter. Whatever fits into your model of outreach, we would love to get involved with. We would love to hitch a ride, so to speak, and get this information to your community with as low a lift for you as we can make work. To answer your question in the chat very briefly, about filing for last year, it looks like. Oh, Megan got it. Okay, cool. Good to see. Yeah, so we have these kinds of resources available. We would also be willing to train, we have training videos available for if you're doing canvassing, you've already got people going out, talking to residents. We can help give you some information that can be brought directly from a person to a resident. Another big one is let us know about community events that might be happening. If you're willing to take our material to a community event, I can give you some information to speak to. You can just bring flyers. I've got lots of partners who just take a stack of flyers and they've got other stuff they're doing and they have a flyer available at a community event. If you have any other ideas, we'd be happy to hear them. If you're like, well, you haven't mentioned it, Victor, but the way that you're talking about this idea would fit really well into X, Y, or Z outreach strategy that we use. I'd love to hear about it. please let me know. Can we get to the next page, Megan?
Sorry, I was answering questions in the chat.
No, that's all right.
Apologies.
No, you're all right. This is a copy. This is a digital copy of our flyer. I have a separate digital copy of the flyer too that I can send. But when this deck gets sent out, which I'm assuming this deck will get sent out, when this gets sent out, that will be there as well. But I also have a digital copy separate from this that I can give you. And this is also available on our website, getthetaxfacts.org. It's in the partner toolkit. So you go to getthetaxfacts.org, you go to about, and you scroll down and you click on partner toolkit. And we have tons of material available. If you're like, I want to do this work, but I don't really feel like emailing you, I get really nervous and I'm shy, you can go to the partner toolkit, pull it up yourself if you really want to. Next page, please. So as I said, getthetaxfacts.org, the partner toolkit. Get in touch with me. There's 2 emails that I can see that will reach me. It's taxes@unitedwaysem.org. Again, that's taxes@unitedwaysem.org, or email me directly at victor.martinez at unitedwaysem.org. And yeah, thank you for listening. Please, I really look forward to hearing from all of you. This is super low lift. The information just needs to get spread as far and as wide as possible. People are thinking about their taxes right now. People are interested in getting access to these services right now. It would be incredible to get as many of you involved as we can and get this information out as far and as wide as possible. This is a kind of an interesting chapter with Washtenaw, and we want to hit the ground running with our outreach here, and we want to make sure as many Washtenaw residents are getting access to these services as possible. So thank you very much, and please get in touch with me, and I look forward to hearing from you all. And if you have any questions, please ask them out loud.
Thanks, Victor. There's a couple of questions in the chat, so I'll address one of them. So one of the questions is, if grandparents are raising grandchildren most of the year, but the parents may be trying to file for the children as well, how does that work? So that's a tricky question. Here's the way it works. Only one adult is allowed to file, or a couple, if people are married filing jointly, is allowed to file for the same child. So the IRS is going to check on that. You know, that's why you have to put your children's social security numbers on the tax return. So the IRS is going to check to see if the same child's social security number has been claimed by 2 different adults. And if they do, then they're going to make some inquiries. And so it is not a good idea to claim children if you, or at least you should be eyes wide open about what will happen if you claim children and you reasonably expect that someone else will claim those children as well. According to IRS rules, the adult who is supposed to receive that child tax credit and that earned income tax credit is the adult or the married couple who are providing the majority of the financial support for that child and with whom that child lives the majority of the year. So if the grandparents are raising grandchildren the majority of the year, then officially under IRS rules, the grandparents are the ones who are deserving and entitled to that earned income tax credit and that child tax credit for that child. Families sometimes do things that are not quite exactly according to IRS rules. So that's just a fact of what happens in the community. According to the IRS, again, if the grandparent is providing the housing and providing the majority of financial support for the child, it is the grandparent who is entitled to that credit. If the grandparent reasonably believes that the children's biological parent is going to try and claim them on their taxes, they can still go ahead and file for it, just to be aware that the IRS is going to look into that, and that may cause some family tension that they might or might not want to invite into their lives. So that is the sort of way it works. And so that was one question in the chat. Another question was around people who have investments in assets but earn less than $67,000 per year. Do they qualify? Generally, yes, so long as those investments and assets are not like crazy huge. So if someone is, if someone, the primary test for whether folks qualify is if they earn less than $67,000 per year, or specifically for the year of 2024. There are some additional eligibility requirements around essentially the complexity of the tax return. So if those investments and assets were to make their tax return particularly complex, as you're starting to get into the types of tax returns that are for high wealth individuals, then no, they would not be eligible. If someone has, owns a house, and has a bit of money in a retirement account, and they're earning less than $67,000 a year, absolutely they would be eligible. Okay, and then there's definitely some emails or some comments in the chat around 211 not recognizing that Ypsilanti is part of our service area. Really apologize for the fact that there are 2 people that seem to have this problem. So I'm actually messaging our 211 leadership team as soon as I finish talking. But yes, if you continue to have that problem, if you could email, I put all of the links and our email address, taxes@unitedwayscm.org. If you could email us if you get that problem continuously, particularly if you're able to tell us who specifically you spoke to. That's helpful to try. I know that clients are not always paying attention to that, but if they can remember, like when you made that call, the client's phone number is also helpful because we can track it down in our database, and also real-time reporting. So if you, and I want to say this about everything about this initiative. If you call 211 and they were not helpful, they did not help you schedule an appointment, I want to know about it. If you go on our website and you try and schedule an appointment for a client and there's something glitchy or weird about our website, I want to know about it. Anything you encounter in helping support your clients to access this services that is a barrier or is not working the way that we have advertised it, we want to know about it. We rely on you all for our feedback loops to make sure that we are delivering on what we say we're supposed to be doing. So please give us that feedback. Really appreciate it. We had this problem after hours in the automated system. Said these 2 zip codes were not in the service area. Okay. All right. This is more specific feedback, so I will, so it sounds like you weren't even able to get through to 211 in the first place. Is that correct? That this is the 211 where you have to enter your zip code. It just is not, like, you weren't even able to get through to the phone. Is that correct? Emily and Lori?
Hi, this is 211 historically has been a problem for our folks. I'm the community resource coordinator in Ypsi Township, so all of my people are 48197, 48198. And if I even suggest that they reach out to 211, they tell me they might as well just not bother. Just so you know, we get that feedback in our neighborhood watch meetings. We get it here. We get phone calls. That's a lot of the calls I get are because people have tried 211 and they've been sent on wild goose chases.
All right. Well, I really appreciate that feedback. I will, if you actually, both of you, Emily and Lori, and anyone else that has this problem, we've got a guest B as well. If you all can just drop your contact information in the chat or send us an email at that taxes email address, I'm going to follow up specifically about this problem, and we'll make sure to send you an email when we have an explanation and a resolution, because that is not okay. We are here to serve everybody in our area, and I can only imagine that I don't know why. I don't know why the 211 system does not like these zip codes, but we're gonna get it fixed because that's what we do.
Well, we appreciate you. It's been years, just so you
Okay.
know. This is not a new problem.
I'm really sorry that has been such a problem, but yeah, we will make sure that we get that fixed.
And just for the record, Ipsy Township would be more than happy to host pop-ups.
Okay. All right. Well, we will contact you about that. And then I just wanted to note, I'm realizing barely as we speak that our partner toolkit does not actually, we've got a Wayne Oakland Macomb flyer, and then we've got a Washtenaw flyer because, you know, we're sort of new to Washtenaw. So we wanted to make it really clear on that flyer that this is for Washtenaw residents. That Washtenaw flyer is not on the partner toolkit. So Victor, if you can take that as an action item to get that posted on the partner toolkit, and then we will actually forward a copy of that flyer to Stacy to share with this group. And it'll get on the website within the next couple of days, but in the meantime, we will forward that copy.
I'll get the ball rolling on that right now.
Great. All right.
Thank you so much, Megan and Victor. Yes, definitely send me the flyer. I definitely want to get the flyer and the flyer that you had and all of this information onto the Berrybuster website and make it available to everyone there as well.
Yeah. Just for the record, the flyer on this deck is the Washtenaw flyer. So
Okay,
we'll
so
see
it
you
is a
on
good, okay. So
I
the
will
slide
get the
deck will
digital-
be uploaded to the website, so we will have it there. Okay,
and I'll get you the digital copy, and I'll get that digital copy up on the website.
excellent.
Any other questions we can answer for you all today?
Okay.
All right, well, thanks everyone so much. We appreciate your support, and we look forward to getting to know you all better. And again, like I said, if there's anything that's not working, please let us know. We will try and get it fixed. Yeah, Victor is available to bring you hard copy printed flyers to your location. So please let him know if you would like a stack of flyers.
Yeah, please. Save yourself the cost of the ink and the paper. I'll bring them to you for free. And no worries on that. All right. And thank you all for your time, and thank you for the feedback about the 211 situation. We really appreciate that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you both. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen real quick, and I'm gonna give. So for those that are sticking around a little longer, I can give a little Berrybuster update, where we're at with funding, a little bit about how the portal's going, and let me share this right. Can you see my screen okay? So maybe I didn't get this to go right. Yeah, I see. Yeah, it is good. Okay, thank you. You get that ring around it and don't see it. But anyway, so just to get started at Berrybusters, where we're at. Okay, so thank you, everybody. We have gone through training with just a number out of my head, probably roughly about 140 people, Berrybuster agencies and staff who have participated in our new portal trainings to move us into the new portal. Thank you, everybody who's attended those meetings. It's been a big overhaul to get us into the new system. It's been, I think overall it's been okay. I think we've done pretty good. Everybody seems, the folks that have done it, we feel like it's been successful in getting the request in. There have been a few issues that have surfaced with this many people putting in requests. We've had some things surface. We are trying to address them. And the system itself is evolving. I have a nice long list that I'm going to go back to our IT support to see what we can do to help change and kind of update the system to make it better work for us. So thank you, everyone who have taken the time to participate in that training. If you haven't been in that training and you would like to, or someone, a colleague that should have that training also, I do have 2 more scheduled for training the first week of February. Let's see, I wrote it down. February 3rd at 11 a.m. and then February 6th at 2 p.m. And so you can reach out to me and I'll get that link sent out. I'll probably send another announcement through the listserv inviting people to join us for that training. The last I looked, there were already like 30 more people signed up for those 2 trainings. So wow, we've got a lot. keep in mind that a lot of this training and this, the portal is for those agencies that have intake processes already built into their agency who work with clients. So not everybody necessarily would be maybe looking to make requests, but we do offer it to anybody who does meet that criteria. So if you have any more questions about the portal, always reach out. We'll get you set up however it is you need, or if you're having trouble with it, let us know. The Barrier Buster staff email is the best way to reach us. Okay, I'm going to move to our funding for January. As we're ending January, as you can imagine, we are out of funding. This is what we have some of right now. We have some carryover funds from Pittsfield Township, roughly 3,000. This is designated for Pittsfield Township specific agencies. Right now, this is what our funding looks like for the upcoming months. Actually, let's move to this slide. I kind of summarized it here. What to expect for 2025 funding as of right now. These things change as the months go on. But right now, we're looking at our typical $14,500 a month for flexible funds, which is the Washtenaw County General Fund. Ypsi Township, we have a $12,500. That includes flexible funds. That is resident specific. And then again, the Pittsfield Township, about approximately $2,000 a month allocated there to stretch for the whole year. Again, Pittsfield Township specific. I do need to work with the City of Ann Arbor Fund. As I mentioned earlier, we do have some City of Ann Arbor funds that have been allocated, and I need to update this slide to include that amount. Do I have it here? Actually, I think I did. I put it here. So we have roughly $14,000 available a month for City of Ypsilanti. I'm sorry. I read Ypsilanti, but I meant to say City of Ann Arbor has the $14,000. This fund is available January through June. And so it's kind of a concentrated few months that we have this larger amount. If that changes, we'll update all of this if that were to change. So right now, this is what we have. Ann Arbor Water Fund is always rolling. We do have eviction funds available. We do have housing specific funds available that would get used and accessed through SOS. So clients would want to get recommended to go to then enter into the SOS pipeline for housing services or housing requests. Okay, so funding, our allocation will we will then assign all the allocations for February will kick in. Since I think Saturday is the 1st, it'll be Monday. I think that is the 3rd, February 3rd. We can start putting in those requests. Again, we do expect the money to go. This isn't very much, and there's a greater need for the amount of money we have. So we are encouraging everybody to just put in their requests the day of February 3rd, for example, the day of, we know that some people are kind of getting it in there that Friday, trying to get it in early. Overall, that's not really going to make a huge difference. It's not going to necessarily put you at the top of the list because of the way that we go through and triage each of the cases. You know, we do look at prioritizing. An example would be a mother who's in already DTE shut off. We want to make sure that power gets back on immediately. And so we're going to put that request up at the top. And so when we triage, when we're looking at everything, we want to make sure we get those that are in a critical financial need to help support them. So please go ahead, put them in on February 3rd. If you run into issues with the portal, reach out to us. I have done a couple times, met with others. We did where we shared screens. We did kind of a Teams video call with each other, and that way I was able to see their screen and vice versa. So if you need that one-on-one, let me know. We want it to be successful for everybody and as little frustration as possible as we move everybody into the system. Are there any questions that I can answer right now? I'm not seeing anything in the chat. Anybody want to unmute and throw in a question? Okay. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thank you again for showing up a week later from our originally scheduled meeting. And if you want any more information on the portal or funding and that you think of later, feel free to reach out to the Barry Buster staff email, and we'll get back to you on that. Again, all of the slides that were presented today will be on the website. I will also take this recording and upload it to the website and send out that announcement in the email listserv. Let's see, what other housekeeping information? I think that's about it. We will be updating. We're getting a new website, new Barry Buster. The whole county is getting a new platform change on the website. And so right now we know that there is some outdated information. This February, I will be going in and updating the website with more current information. But in the meantime, it still is a good place to go check out for information about the programs and about what we have available in the community. All right, everyone. Thank you. And I will see you next month. Thanks for joining us, Sheila. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Hey, Nathan. Thanks for joining us.